Hey, what's up? It's JS. Some people know me as a social worker, an advocate for parental substance abuse, a life coach. Some people even know me as the heart lady whose videos pop up on their social media feeds. But at the end of the day, I'm simply a woman on a mission. I want to help you transform your life using the exact tools I use to transform my life. I won't say I have all the answers, but I will do everything I can to help you find your answers. My goal isn't to reach millions. My goal is to reach you. Welcome to the JS Self-Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, a weekly conversation about self-care, personal development, and all the small decisions we can make to become the best possible versions of ourselves. I want to welcome my new listeners, and I also want to welcome my returning listeners. If you can please share this episode, because there's someone in this world who needs to listen to this episode. I want to personally thank you for making the JS Self-Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast part of your weekly routine. I truly, truly appreciate you. Hey guys, I missed you. I have been sick lately, and as you can hear, I'm still feeling a little bit nasally, but I've been working behind the scenes, and I wanted to talk about the signs of a healthy relationship. I asked, what do you think is a good sign that you are in a healthy relationship? I also want to ask you, what are some signs you are not in a healthy relationship, and what do you plan on doing about it? Not being in a healthy relationship. Do you plan on ending the relationship, or do you plan on talking with your partner and explaining to them how you're feeling and how important it is to be in a healthy relationship? It's not all about just upping and leaving if you're not in a healthy relationship. Have you had the conversation? And if you had the conversation, maybe it's time that you make a decision. But we all should be in happy, healthy relationships. So let's talk about them signs you are in a healthy relationship. There are a lot of things you and your partner, significant other, husband, wife, boo may love to do, like exercising, taking long bike rides, and traveling, or eating the best foods. But when it comes to being happy and healthy in a relationship, there are other things to consider than just having common interests. So I ask, what exactly makes a healthy relationship? A great relationship is most definitely a safe place for both people or multiple people to love, honor, and respect one another. You can communicate your wants, needs, and boundaries. You are also able to listen to the other person without defenses up or walking on eggshells. You can communicate your wants, needs, and boundaries as well as listen to the other person. No matter how you define a healthy relationship, it is important to cultivate, because the opposite of a healthy relationship is a toxic relationship, which takes a toll on the quality of life by heightening depression and anxiety, which can impact your sleep, self-esteem, which causes you to take up unhealthy habits, and even which can impact your healthy, hearty health, diabetes, high blood pressure, and stress levels, and probably other health disparities. Being in a high-quality romantic relationship is associated with greater well-being. Being single was far better for someone's well-being than being in a less happy partnership. So here are some signs that you are in a healthy relationship. You are not afraid to speak. Like, for instance, you have something to tell your partner and you are not walking on eggshells. Like, you're not saying, I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to upset my love. I am just going to keep it to myself. It's easy to know when your partner does something you don't like. Maybe they don't call you for 2 days or don't help out around the house when you live together. But it's not always easy to speak up and tell your significant other how you're feeling. Being able to speak takes a lot of strength, self-confidence, and courage, because you have to come from a vulnerable place. In a healthy relationship, you'll feel secure enough to be open with your partner, to say what it is you need to say and not be walking on eggshells. A healthy relationship allows you to say what it is you need to say, and you are not afraid of any consequences that may come your way. Our next sign that shows us that we are in a healthy relationship is that trust is at the core of your relationship. Trust is the foundation in all relationships. We tend to bring past relationships into our current relationship, which is not good, but something some of us do. Not to mention us bringing our past relationships in our current relationship. We also have social media and cell phones, which play a part in trusting our partners. Social media sometimes will have us assuming a whole lot of stuff. Like if your partner doesn't post you, you might feel as if A, they are hiding the relationship, or B, they are allowing their followers to assume they are still single. I can go on and on about social media. If you are in a healthy relationship, you shouldn't be thinking about social media and cell phone number contacts. Your partner should be showing that they are trustworthy. They're reliable and available. When your loved ones say they will be there, they'll be there. They show you they trust you by giving you the freedom and space you need without checking up on you constantly, like calling you every hour on the hour, constantly texting you every 5 minutes. Trust is huge in a relationship. If you can't trust them, you should not be in a relationship. Trust is not something that gets better over time. Our next sign is that we are in a healthy relationship is that you know each other's love language. This is so important. And the reason it is important because people are in a relationship for many years and don't know each other's love language, but say, I can't please so-and-so for shit, no matter what I do. Think about it. If you've said this about your partner, how long have you been saying it? This one basically means you are speaking two different love languages, and the way that you want to please them doesn't please them no matter what the heck you do. So according to Dr. Gary Chapman, there are 5 love languages. The first one is words of affirmations, acts of service, receiving gifts, physical touch, quality time. Words of affirmation, it just means you are beautiful. Acts of service, taking out the garbage, receiving gifts, coming home with flowers and chocolate and candy and maybe a Birkin bag. Physical touch, physically touching your partner when they're in the kitchen cooking, slap them on the butt, hug them, kiss them, love them. Quality time, just sitting there actually spending quality time. Everyone has a love language. You just have to figure out which one is your partner's love language. If you are not sure of your love language, I suggest you download the love language test and take it with your partner, or you should suggest that you and your partner take it separately. The most important thing is to take the test and stop speaking 2 different love languages. There is so many people in the world who swear by the 5 love languages. The 5 love languages will most definitely help discover your partner's love language, and it will also help your partner to know what your love language is. And you can also stop saying, why so and so keep doing what the things that they do that don't even excite you. A person's love language is the only way a person prefers to give and receive love through words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, physical touch, and gifts. In a healthy relationship, you've taken time to learn each other's love language so you can express your love in a way that works for both of you. Our next healthy relationship tip is you agree to disagree on certain issues. Just because you are in a relationship with someone, that does not mean that your beliefs and values must be the exact same all the time. It doesn't mean because your partner likes something, you have to love it. You don't have to agree on every little thing. You can agree to disagree. I am not saying where one agrees rent or mortgage needs to be paid, where the other believes that it doesn't, and an eviction should happen. That's nothing to agree to disagree on. Rent, mortgage needs to be paid, because that's not what I'm saying. I am saying if one believes lemonade is the best drink in the world and the other person believes mango is the best drink in the world, it's okay to disagree, to agree. Like, okay, you like that, I like this. It's just not a debate. One could love lemonade, one could love mango. You must listen. Every couple on this planet fights, but contrary to what you might think, you don't need to fix every issue. In fact, it's okay to have a handful of topics that you two or three will never agree on. It's okay. Sometimes it's totally fine to agree to disagree. I think that's healthy fighting. That's what that's called, healthy fighting. You like lemonade, I like mango. In healthy relationships, there are at least 5 issues that in that relationship, each person won't agree on. At least 5 things. They're the issues that you both differ in opinion and perspective on, and that's quite okay. Listen, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree. I'm going to say it again. On certain issues, it's called healthy fighting. The next healthy relationship tip is that we encourage each other to go after our dreams and goals. So important. Just because you are in a relationship with someone does not mean your personal goals need to be the same as your partner's goals. I'm going to put this out there. If you don't feel supported in achieving your goals with your partner, please do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Evaluate your relationship with that person. The reason I say this is because I don't want anyone in this world singing their should haves, could have song. Nobody got time for that. Nobody should be singing, I should have did this, I could have did this. Since working as a life coach, about 50% of my clients tell me that they want to either go back to school or open their business, but are not supported at home. How sad is that? Have you ever said, I want to do XYZ, but can't because I have these children or I'm married? If you have, I'm talking about you. Just because you have children or are married, you can continue with your goals. Many of us have dreams and no visions for our life, especially as we age. We want to maintain those visions and goals. It's absolutely okay if your dreams don't align with one another, as long as you honor and encourage each other to achieve your goals. Our next healthy relationship tip is you and your partner hold separate interests. That's very important that both of you hold separate interests. You're not twins. Everything don't have to be done alike. Some things, yes. How dope is that? Just because your partner loves football does not mean you have to love football. Just because your partner loves General Hospital does not mean you have to love General Hospital. For those that are like, what is General Hospital? It's a soap opera that some of us grew up on. I think you get where I'm going with this. Couples who have the greatest love affairs are the ones who were able to maintain their own interests, but don't put guilt on their partner for not sharing it with them, meaning both of you encourage the other to explore what they love on their own. While it's easy to adopt your partner's habits and interests over time, becoming over-reliant on each other can breed resentment. You don't want to hate your partner. We're talking healthy relationships, right? Developing and investing in yourself builds self-confidence, self-love, and joy. You are happy what you're doing, and your partner should be just as happy at what they're doing. If they love football, you don't have to love it. Let's get rid of that myth of you like it, I love it. Just because he likes it, I gotta love it. Or just because she likes it, I gotta love it. Let that go. You have your own interests and they have their own interests. Our next healthy relationship tips is boundaries are honored and respected. If you are talking about healthy relationships, then we are talking about boundaries must be respected and not crossed. Once you told your partner what your boundaries are, and once you discuss what the consequences will be if they cross your boundaries, then you're good to go. I always say boundaries without a consequence will most definitely be crossed multiple times. A healthy relationship means you're both on the same team. In a healthy relationship, Both parties discuss and agree upon important subjects that are meaningful to one another. Like, for example, if you're budgeting for something big like a vacation, an unsupportive partner in an unhealthy relationship doesn't honor that goal, but they may sabotage it by trying to get you to splurge on something unnecessary, things you don't even need. If you can talk it out with your partner and they acknowledge and understand your boundaries, that's a good sign. However, if your partner repeatedly ignores what you value, including your boundaries, that's concerning. Boundaries without a consequence are null and void. You have to say, if you do this, I am going to do this. A boundary and a consequence. If we're budgeting for a vacation, then that's what we are doing. If we respect that we are budgeting and you go off and splurge, that I will be going, just trust and believe, I will be going on vacation by myself. And you will be home with your finger in your mouth saying, I should have budgeted like my partner told me to. Our last healthy relationship tip for this episode is you feel happy and supported. If you are in a relationship and you are not feeling happy and supported, please do yourself and them a favor and evaluate the relationship. Once the initial elation of a new relationship wears off, check in with your partner. Do you feel happy and supported by your partner? How are your mood and self-esteem? If you feel any strain or lack of support, talk to your significant other. It's the healthy thing to do. Feeling unhappy in a relationship can lead to health problems down the road. In some studies, adults over age 50 who were partnered up having regular negative interactions in a relationship increases the likelihood of suffering from depression and anxiety, and is even linked to suicidal thoughts, likely because dysfunction drives up day-to-day stress. On the other hand, strong partnerships protect people when they're in the midst of a crisis, exactly the time they need someone on the other side. You must be happy and supported, because if your health will be affected. You have to be happy and supported in your relationships. If we're not happy and supported in our relationships, evaluate that relationship. Sometimes it's a conversation with your partner, and sometimes you have to part ways. Being lonely and happy is way, way better than being in a relationship and being unhappy. If you have or want a romantic relationship, you probably want a healthy one, right? I hope so. But what's a healthy relationship exactly? Well, it depends. Healthy relationships don't look the same for everyone since people have different needs. Your specific needs around communication, sex, affection, space, shared hobbies, or values, and so on, may change throughout the life of the relationship. So, a relationship that works in your 20s may be nothing like the relationship that you want in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or even 60s. Relationships that don't align with more traditional definitions of a relationship can still be healthy. For example, people who practice polyamory or ethical non-monogamy may define a healthy relationship somewhat different than people who practice monogamy. In short, healthy relationships is a broad term because what makes a relationship depends on the needs of the people in it. Let's all work on being in a healthy, prosperous relationship. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I hope you can share it with others. And also, I hope that some of the tools discussed can be put in your self-care toolbox to utilize when needed. If mental health treatment is needed, please don't hesitate to contact a therapist in your area. Self-care is important and necessary. Take care of you and continue to put you first no matter what. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and share. For daily doses of self-care affirmations and notes to self, make sure you join the JS Self-Care social media tribe on most social media platforms. Social media links will be placed in this episode show notes.